Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Frances Mahan. Today's video will be on the topic of conversation about philosophy, the existence of God, religion, the Word, and the Bible. For centuries, many have argued about religion, the Bible, the Word, and the existence of God. Throughout centuries, a diversity of religion have different expression about their understanding, their knowledge, and perception about what God is and their understanding of it. The Word can be captured by question, knowledge of it, or the skeptic and beliefs about the Word, the Bible, and God. Let us first begin by asking the question, what does it mean when we say God exists? How does religion and its language and the beliefs should be understood? How can God be understood through the words religious scholars express about their knowledge of God? We can begin by saying that God is perfection, and by that we mean that something which nothing else is more excellent than is subliminal, perfect, and therefore God is complete sufficiency. Again, this means God is ultimate reality. A great deal has been debated in philosophy about the existence or notion and knowledge of God. Nonetheless, today we still ponder about His existence and what does it mean when we say God is. Observing nature gives us an idea that something greater than humanity, that man created what we see, what we perceive, what we understand, and what we know today. By definition, God is that being and consciousness that none of us can be, perceive, or imitate. Therefore, God can be perceived as existing an existence that none of us can fully express, ever. The opinion here is but an ontological argument, a theory, an expression, a philosophical expression of what we know and understand about God. For He is greatness, reality, existence, and consciousness, perceived as oneness and unique by all definition. To say that something exists merely means that something corresponding to the concept of its existence or an object does exist. If you are the seeker of the truth, you must at least once in your life doubt the possibility of that truth. Skeptics are challenged by the knowledge of the truth. They seek to understand and know what they do not know as the truth. Sometimes, even if we know the truth, we cannot make ourselves believe that it is truth or is the truth. Therefore, we can say that a skeptic is only being deceived by what he has understood in the way of knowing whether the experience that he has experienced is genuine reality or simply a perception of his own illusion. In conclusion, I would like to add that things are not always what they appear to be for us. How can we be sure that what we experience is how the world is if we doubt it? When we see the beauty of nature, when we observe what we see with our eyes, how do we know that it is if we doubt it? As an internal observer, our senses sometimes can be highly deceiving. Reality sometimes can exist unperceived. For example, if you imagine a tree and the tree does not exist, it is only in your imagination, how do you know that it's real? This is what the law of attraction says, that you can imagine things before they happen. But how do you know that they are a reality? Berkeley's argue that you cannot imagine to see something or an object with your imagination just by looking at it in your mind, in your perception of being when it doesn't exist. He also concludes that the hypothesis does not support the object existence. If it doesn't exist, therefore, how can you observe it or perceive it as being real or present? While God exists in many forms, we are not capable of explaining fully the nature of his existence in the universe, because it does exceed our power and intelligence to understand his creation. Therefore, God's existence does not need an explanation. It simply has to be experienced. You have to have the knowledge and understanding of his existence through your own experience of him. However, there are many ways in which a person can experience the divine connection with God, such as visual, spiritual, through the sensory perception and awareness. And this is called mystical union with the divine, an experience with God. In this experience with God, we are aware of God. Some philosophers compare this experience to the sensory perception. The person has a mystical union with an awareness of God or something other than oneself. Sometimes God's existence is outside our comprehensions. This is what we call a genuine expression with something divine. With this, I conclude